this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can actually go ahead to make 363 euros in a day. Not in a week, just in a day, and using a platform called eBay. In case you don't know who I am, I flip laptops, electronics, computers, monitors, just name it, on eBay, and I've been doing it for a very, very long time. This particular Lenovo ThinkPad T480 has been sold on eBay. Sold for 363 euros 99. The beautiful thing is that it was actually listed in the time where the eBay sales are just kind of dropping. If you go online, you go on YouTube, see a lot of people complaining, sales are down, sales are down, sales are down, and sometimes it could be very disturbing. But then, given that I've been on the platform for quite a long time, I realized that when sales are down, this is the best time for you to actually go ahead and list stuff. And I did list this laptop. It was a Lenovo ThinkPad, like I said. One laptop that a lot of people want to have, because when sales are down, this is not the best time for you to begin to experiment with stuff. You just want to go for the things that you know already has a market demand. And this was exactly what I did. I realized that the T480 has a market demand both on eBay, both off of eBay, and it didn't cost me a lot of effort to actually look for it, to source it, to buy it, and then took it to the platform. But then, before buying this notebook, I really did make sure that this notebook was in excellent condition. If you take a look at it, back and front, it looks really clean. There's absolutely no signs of use when you look at it. Even though it's used, it looks pretty much like new. So this was what I knew, judging from my experience, that people really want to have. And when things are down on the platform and sales are not moving, it's not the best time for you to begin to buy things that you do not know if people will buy it or not. Just buy. Look at the eBay platform. Good enough. Terapic is there for you to actually check to see what's selling and what's not selling. So if you check, if you sell electronics, if you sell home items, if you sell clothing, just take a look at the platform. Take a look at what has been selling in the last 6 or 7 days up to 1 month. Then you just can have a general idea what the trend is like. So when I saw this laptop, I knew that I was going to sell it. It doesn't matter what the competition was like. It didn't matter if slows were down. I still did go ahead to list this laptop. And when I was listing it, I really did make sure that I had the very keywords that I knew would make this last set. This was the offer I made on eBay. If you take a look at it, that's my account. And yes, Lenovo ThinkPad T480. The main keyword on this laptop is a Lenovo ThinkPad. I went ahead, make sure that that was the first keyword I used, and specified that it was a notebook, 14-inch notebook. It has an Intel Core i5. This was the processor number, because kind of realized a lot of people will be interested to know what kind of processor it has. If I had omitted this from the title, then it will create a situation where somebody might be interested. If he's a lazy buyer, might not say, okay, there's no title, there's no indication of the processor on this laptop. I'm just going to skip past it. But sometimes when people take a look, they actually go ahead to scroll to the description and actually find it there. But the best thing you want to do is just to include the processor on the title, and then the amount of RAM it has, and the SSD, like you can see, 512 gigabyte NVMe SSD. This was exactly what I did, and I did list the offer. First day passed, wasn't selling. Second day, it wasn't selling. Third day passed, and I think on the fourth day, I received a notification from eBay that the item had sold. It was listed as a variation listing. If you take a look at it, these are variations. You can actually specify which size of RAM you want to have, or which size of the hard drive you want to have. So very soon, I'm going to go ahead and pack this. I'm also going to show you a video of me packing it and shipping it to the buyer. But then the question I know you might be asking is that, okay, I'm kind of interested to sell computers, to sell laptops on the eBay platform, but then how do I get this kind of clean laptop? There are so many ways to actually get this kind of laptop. You can actually source for these in different ways. There are so many suppliers actually supplying to resellers this kind of nice laptops. A beautiful way to also source is to actually go to a place called Facebook Marketplace. Of course, I know you are aware of these kind of places. I've had a lot of success buying stuff from Facebook Marketplace. If you live in the US, Craigslist is also a very beautiful place to buy some of this stuff, because These are platforms where private people just go ahead to list their stuff, and most of these private people, they really don't know the actual value of what they are selling. You can't find these things in the thrift stores. Just forget about it. And sometimes I kind of realize that the electronics that you find in the thrift stores, they are not pretty. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody. They are not electronics that are really worth a lot of money. This is a 363 euro notebook. I really don't want to think that you're going to walk into any thrift store and just find this lying on the shelf, because if anybody has this on a thrift store, they would prefer to sell it for a very good amount that if you try to flip it, there's pretty much nothing going to be left for you in terms of profit at the end of the day. So you can actually get this from so many sources. If you have been, the thing is, you have to be seen doing this thing. You have to be, in other words, you have to be a reseller. If you are not a reseller, you might be taking a look at, hey, how am I going to find this kind of notebook, But if you are a reseller, over time, the more you continue to build relationship with suppliers, the more you continue to build relationship, the more you buy stuff. Just imagine you go somewhere to buy a notebook and you tell them, look, if you ever have another notebook to sell, I will be interested. Here is my card, or here is my number. It's like relationship building, contact building. Over time, you realize that you have a very good source of this kind of hardware. This is a very beautiful notebook. I'm pretty sure that the buyer is going to be super excited. Like, I'm also very excited myself, because take a look at the condition. It looks very, very clean. Of course, sales are not really what it should be right now. This doesn't bother us. If you are already in this reselling game, you should already have noticed this kind of trend. Every year it happens. Sometimes it happens at about summer, which is exactly what we are experiencing now. Some people call it the summer slowdown. Sometimes it even happens at the beginning of the year. People are not just spending money, they're just coming out from Christmas, and nobody's actually spending, but then you have to continue to put in the work. Nobody ever said selling on eBay is going to be easy, but believe me, I have made a lot of money selling on this platform. And yes, it's not easy also. Sometimes we talk from the perspective of sellers. Yes, I have spent a lot of money. I've bought computers. I've bought a lot of inventories. They are not selling. Sometimes from the perspective of the platform, it's also not easy. Sometimes they also have challenges. They have human resource problems. They have technological problems. Sometimes they do a new deployment and it just messes up with the system. And sometimes they are working behind the scenes. Sometimes we don't even know what they are doing. Sometimes we don't really see, even though they are working very hard, we don't tend to see it. And sometimes as resellers that we always tend to complain, my items are not selling, things are not selling. But the thing is, if you have chosen reselling as a full-time job or a part-time job, or something you really want to do, not something you just want to handle with kid gloves, something you really want to do, a worthwhile venture that you decided to put all your effort and your time in, you will be able to go through this phase. I've seen this kind of phases so many times. I've seen situations where things just don't sell. 6-7 days, no one eBay notification sound. You know the chin-chin sound that makes you kind of excited. Nothing at all. You see, it's just blank. Everything, zero, null, blank. But then you just have to keep going on. When it happens like this, look at your listings. Are there ways you can actually go ahead and change the listings? See if you can change the titles. See if there are ways you can change the price. If you realize that the price might be not competitive enough, go ahead and change it. Sometimes if you wanted to make 70 euros or 50 euros off of a hardware like this, you can decide to make 20 euros just for the why. Definitely there are going to be better times where you're going to be balling. This notebook actually sold for 333 euros, but given that I'm going to be sending it to France, I live in Germany and I sell on ebay.de. But then the buyer paid 30 euros, which is the cost of shipment. And hopefully with this, I should be able to get this thing shipped out still today, perhaps tomorrow at the latest. And then I'm going to show you a video of me packing it and also give you a tip or two that might be helpful to you if you decide to go ahead to sell something like this. So let's say you are interested in seeing how I've packed and shipped this notebook. Make sure to watch the video here, because I detailed every step I took to make sure that this laptop was well packed and shipped out. And hopefully you want to take a look at it, because it's definitely going to help you. If you're not subscribed to the channel, this is Hardwareflipper. Make sure you are subscribed. Like the video, share it to your friends. And until I see you in the next video, peace.